What is a variable? You can define it in your own words, it's fine. If you attended the last class and just looking at the diagram here, I think you all can make out. Yes? If you don't speak up voluntarily, I'll have to pick up names. What is a variable? Wow. Okay, Anupam.
Yes, ma'am.
What is a variable?
It's
Wow. What is a
numbers and
variable?
n-
Huh?
numbers, numbers and statistics.
What?
Ma'am, number is some value.
Sorry, you are not audible.
names names that are given.
Names that are given to what?
Computer location.
We, huh?
Location to memory location.
You are just viewing somebody's comment and replying or what? You can give some other
No.
definition for it. Question নিজৰ ফালৰ পৰা কোৱা. Why do we need a variable? Okay, uh, mute Korea, you can give your answer in the chat section because there's too much of disturbance from your end. Okay, Devashish has replied that variables are the names we give to computer memory locations. Yes, correct. And why do we do that? Devashish, why do we do that? Why is it necessary for to name the memory locations? Can we work with memory locations without giving names? Is it possible or not? Okay, so I'm not wasting much time. Okay, see, I'm just doing a brush up. Variables, if you just look at the diagram here, I already explained very clearly that the memory is made up of multiple cells, okay, and one cell is capable of holding 1 byte of data. 1 byte means 8 bits only. Okay, so one memory location can hold, anyways, so one memory cell. Okay, so what is a cell? So you have a memory block. Inside a block is made up of some number of cells. So cell is the unit. Okay, it's a basic unit of memory. So in a cell, you can store up to maximum of 8 bytes. Sorry, 1 byte of data. That means 8 bits. Okay. So now, whenever you are working with your computer, suppose you want to feed some input, you want to store some value in your memory, or you want to access the value that has already been stored in memory. For that, what do we have to do? You have to be able to read. First, let us consider the first case when you would like to read some values. Read means to input or to store some values in memory. So for that, you should be able to access a memory location where you will be storing that value. Yes, so we are storing our values in memory locations, okay, in memory addresses. So when every cell in a block has got some addresses assigned to it, okay, So every cell in the block will have some associated address with them. Okay, so when now you want to store something in some memory location, you should know the address. Okay, so you should know the address where your value is stored, or suppose you have stored it without even knowing the address, you should be able to even access it back. I gave you one example. Say I have given you a gift and I asked you to go and just suppose I have asked you to go and keep. I have given you a birthday gift and I have asked you to keep it in your bedroom. So if you do not know the address to your bedroom, then how are you supposed to get in there, right? So you have to be able to go there, keep the gift there. And suppose again I ask you that please bring it back to me. I would like to see it again. Okay, then again you have to go back to your bedroom, you have to bring it, fetch it for me. Okay, so this is what we do with numbers and memory locations. So we have to store values in memory locations, and at the same time we must be able to access them. Okay, now the thing is, as I said, every cell has got some associated memory location with them, some address with them. So it is not possible to know the addresses. Okay, so as we know that whenever we are working with the computer, we are using the RAM all the time. So you don't know which part of the RAM is being used now and which part is not. You don't know which cells are being occupied and which are empty. Okay, so now when you want to store some data, you should be able to know where you are storing the data, or you should be able to know the location, so that you can fetch your data from there. Okay, so what we do is, we to make things easier, we make use of variables. So these are nothing but these are some names that we give to memory locations for ease of reference. Okay, so that we can easily refer to the memory location. So what we will do is, we will simply make use of some names. It can be an alphabet, or it can be a series of alphabets. Okay, so likewise we make use of some names, using which we will be naming the memory location. So for me, for example, here I have named the memory location 1001 as A. So when I will be when I will be trying to store any value in this particular memory location, I will be referring it to it as A. Okay, so I will simply store this particular value, whatever is written here. Okay, this 1 byte data, that I will store in A. Okay, and I don't know which A, which memory location A is referring to, but I simply know that A is one memory location that I know, and I'm storing my data in that memory location. This is what I know. Exactly to which particular memory location A is pointing, that I don't know, and I'm least bothered to know about it. Okay, I don't even want to know it. Of course, if you want to know the address of that particular memory location, you can also display it. Okay, we will learn how we can display addresses of memory locations. Okay, later in programs. So this is how we can refer to a particular memory location using variables. So if I'm to store some data, so I will simply write A is equal to say 5. So what does this mean? I am trying to store a value 5 in A. And what is this A? This is a variable. And what is this variable? This is nothing but it is referring to some memory location. Is that fine? So you know that your 5 is stored in A. So later, again, if you want to get this value, you go if you want to know the value that was stored in A, you can simply get into that location and you can fetch it. That is what variables are all about. Okay, and using variables, what we do is, we use variables to store values so that we can use the values later in our program and do some different kinds of manipulations over the values. Okay, so this was all about variables. Now we come to a very important part, which is the data types. So actually variables cannot be used, you know single-handedly. You cannot use variables alone. So you need some they need a company so that they can be used together. Okay, so they need a company with which they can be used. You cannot alone use variables. So we will learn about data types first, and then we will see how we can use variables in our programs. Okay, so next we discuss about data types. Talking about data types, you see there we can categorize data types into three broader categories. Okay, the first is the fundamental data type, which we also call primitive data type or the basic data types. Okay, so this fundamental data type, so these are the basic data types. Okay, and in basic we have four different types. One is the character, int, float, double. Okay, somewhere you might also get void and boolean also. However, Basically, there are four basic data types, four fundamental or primitive data types, which are the character, integer, float, and double. Then the second category of data types is the derived data type, okay, which are the array, functions, and pointers. These are all new topics that we will be covering in your syllabus later. So I will not discuss about this now. Okay, then we have user defined data types. Okay, so these derived data types are actually derived from the basic data types. That is why the name derived. Okay, because we derive it, we get it from the basic data types. Okay, so this is why the name derived data types. And then we have some user defined data types. So user defined means this is your type of data, so the user will design the data. Okay, so it is up to the user how he or she would want to, you know, what type of data he or she would want to have, you know, for storing her values. Okay, so this is defined by the user. We have structure, union, and enumeration under user defined data type. So these are all very broad categories. These are actually one chapters or topics that we will be learning, okay, gradually once we, you know, proceed. So first we will only discuss about the fundamental data type. So this is what you actually have to know, because everything starts from here. Okay, everything starts from this type of data, so you have to be very much clear. See, as I said, there are four basic data types. One, you know, first is character, then we have int, float, and double. So starting with the character, okay, so character, see, the most basic data type in C is the character. It stores a single character and requires a single byte of memory in almost all compilers. Okay, so you see, uh, data types are actually compiler specific. Okay, so you must remember this. So data types are what is a data type actually? Data type means the data that you will be storing. What type of a data are you storing? Is it an integer type of data that you are talking about? Is it a character type of data you are talking about? Is it some decimal type of data you are talking about? Or what will be the size of the data? Is it too big or is it, you know, too small? Okay, so this is what data types represent. Data types means, just break it, type of data. Okay, data type means type of data that you are handling. Okay, so here we will first look at the basic data types, the four basic data types, starting with the character. So we write it as CHAR. Okay, so character represents 1 byte of data only. Okay, and you also have to remember that data types are compiler specific. So it depends. Okay, depending on different compilers, you can have different types of data types. Okay, anyways, but however, these are common in all. Okay, so these are common in all, except for int. Okay, so initially integer used to be of 2 bytes, but now with 32-bit systems, 64-bit systems, you know, int is 4 bytes. Okay, otherwise rest are all almost the same. So starting with the character is used, character represents those data, okay, which are of only 1 byte. So when you are to store 1 byte of data, okay, for example, sorry, when you are, you know, you want to store a character, you have to remember that the character will be representing only one single byte. Single byte means 8 bits. Okay, 1 byte means 8 bits. So when you declare a data as character, so character will always represent 8 bits of data. Okay, next we have int. So int clearly means integer values. Okay, so integer can be positive, negative, or 0, but it has got no decimal part. We have already learned about integers in integer constants, if you remember the constants that we learned in one of the previous classes. So what is int? Int means integer. Okay, so it can be a negative number also, it can be a positive number also, it can be 0 also, but it should be a proper whole number. It cannot be, it cannot have decimal part. Okay, so int, the data type int represents, so as I said, it depends on the compiler. So usually earlier, you know, 16-bit systems use 2 bytes to represent integer data. Now we have 4 bytes. Okay, int uses 4 bytes to represent an integer value. Okay, so this is a 4 byte. So we have a table below that we will look. Next we have float. So float and double. Okay, float and double are used to represent real numbers. Real numbers means numbers with decimal parts. Okay, So all decimal values can be represented using float and double. Both are same except that double can store larger number as compared to float. Okay, the precision here is higher. You can store bigger values. Okay, you can store more bigger decimal values than float. That is all. So float represents 4 bytes and double represents 8 bytes. Okay, so whenever you want to you want, say for example, talking about salary. Yes, someone who earns say 1 lakh a month or say 30 lakhs a month. Okay, so whenever you are talking about salary, so salary can never be a whole number. Okay, because we have paisa also, like 3 lakh point some some paisa. Okay, so likewise, suppose you are storing the salary, huh? So in such cases, you have to make use of either float or double. And if you have a bigger salary that you have to store, then you will prefer using double because of the size. Because float is only of 4 bytes. Maximum it can hold up to 4 bytes. 4 byte means how much? 32 bits. Yes. So maximum it can store up to 32 bits of data, and double can store up to 64 bits of data. So depending on the size that you would want to use, you will be using the data type accordingly. Okay, between float and double. Now we will look at some more um, types. Actually, not type. Just as I said, there are 4 basic types: the character, integer, float, and double. So character, as I said, it is used to represent one character of data, that is 8 bytes. Sorry, 1 byte only. Int represents 4 bytes. Float represents 4 bytes again, but this is for decimal, and int is for integer values. And double is used to represent decimal values only, but with higher precision. Okay. Now suppose you want, as I said, these are for both negative and positive numbers. Okay, integer. So integer can be both for positive number also, for negative number also. Okay, float or double, you can have positive decimal numbers also, you can have negative decimal numbers also. So accordingly you can use it. Now we can add some more words in front of these basic data types to minimize or maximize their sizes. Okay, so these are the 4 basic data types, but however we can do some add-ons. Okay, we can add some extra words so that we make the size somewhat flexible. Okay, suppose as I said, int is of 4 bytes, and integer can be a positive number also, it can be a negative number also. Okay, but suppose I want to store only positive numbers and I don't want any extra space for storing negative numbers. Okay, so for that you will have to make use of certain words. Or suppose you want to increase the size of integer from 4 bytes, okay, to 8 bytes. Is it fine? As I said, int can hold a maximum of 4 bytes only. But now suppose you want to maximize the size of int. Okay, you want to store a bigger number, a bigger integer number, but that number you cannot store using int keyword only. For that you have to make use of another word along with key, along with int, using which you can store a bigger integer number than 4 bytes. So likewise, we look down on the chart here. You see, we will first talk about integer. Okay, so as I said, just look here, this is integer. Okay, fine. So this is int. So memory, how much memory does it represent? It represents 4 bytes of memory. That means you can store up to 32 bits. Okay, any number with a maximum of 32 bits can be stored using integer data type. Okay, now this is the range. Okay, this is the range, 2 to the power. So as I said, you can store the values from, as I said, integer. So when I say integer, it can be positive number also, it can be negative number also in the number scale. Okay, so starting from the negative to the positive, you can have numbers in this range. So you have the values here. So you can store numbers starting from this to its equivalent positive number this. So any number belonging to this range can be stored using int data type. Okay, We will talk about this later. Anyways, %d. So how do we represent any integer type of data? Using %d. This we will learn later. Okay, this we will learn a bit later. So let it just remain this way. We are simply looking at the data types and their range of values and the sizes. Okay. Next, talking about, say this is in, this is of 4 bytes, and we can have values. If you are to store 4 bytes of data using integer, how many values can you have? So you can have a value of this range. Okay, starting from -214 7 483 648 to positive of the same number. Okay, now suppose you want to store only positive numbers for this range. You don't want to store the negative numbers. Okay, suppose you want to store only the positive integers. Then what you can do is you have to simply use the keyword unsigned. Okay, you have to simply use the keyword unsigned. So these are all keywords. So if you remember, what are keywords? Keywords are also names, but they are not like variables or other identifiers. Okay, identifiers were what? Identifiers are some names that we give to variables or functions. Yes, but what are keywords? Keywords are the reserved words. Keywords are those words that are already built in, and they perform some specific task. They have some specific meaning. Okay, and we cannot use them wherever we want to. Okay, so these are some keywords. Unsigned is also a keyword that we will be making use with the int data type. So what is unsigned int? So unsigned means not signed. That means here we will be excluding the excluding the negative integer numbers. The size remains the same. Okay, the size, the number of bytes will remain the same. It will represent 4 bytes. Okay, but however, what will happen is we will just exclude the negative part, negative numbers from the number scale. So we will basically start from 0 to this. So if you see, we have bigger number here. Yes, so this number, if you compare both the numbers, we have a bigger number here, because ultimately we are representing the same number of bytes. Here also we represented 4 bytes, here also we are representing 4 bytes. We are not minimizing or maximizing the number of bytes it represents. We are simply changing the numbers that they are representing. Here int is representing both positive number as well as negative number in the number scale, but here unsigned int is representing only the positive numbers. Now to store all positive numbers from 0 up to this range, okay, for 4 bytes. 4 bytes means how much? 32 bits. Okay, so accordingly, if you want to store all the values, so this will be the range. So if you use this particular data type for any particular value, then your range will be from 0 to this much. Is it fine? Ekhini buji paisa na yaloke? Anybody is having any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Please pick up the rest of the students, because once I start proceeding, I will not backtrack. So these are very basic things, and these are very important things, so you have to understand. Okay, okay. Gunjan has said no. Is it clear till here? Is it clear why we use data types? Data types are nothing but to represent what type of data you want to store, because data can be of any type. Yes, you can store numbers, you can store positive numbers, negative numbers, decimal numbers, whole numbers, you can store names, you can store letters, you can store anything. Everything is a data. So you have to specify, the user has to specify the machine that this is this type of data. So that is what we are doing. We are talking about data types. So what are the different data types we can have in C programming? Okay, so basic data types, there are 4, as I said: character, integer, float, and double. Character represents a single character, that means a single byte only. Okay, integer represents 4 bytes. Then float also represents 4 bytes, and double represents 8 bytes. So float, double is just the double of float. Okay, float is 4, double is 8. So if you double the float, you get double data type. Okay, so this is what we discussed, and now we are talking about some additional some other what you say, some keywords that we can add with the basic data types to maximize or minimize the size of the data, or to exclude the negative numbers from the range. Okay, so likewise we have different types of keywords. So here I gave you one example. So this was int, yes, which represents 4 bytes of data in memory. And if you use int, okay, so when you ask me what will be the values that we can store using integer type of data, then I will simply tell you that you can store all values from this to this. All values lying in this range can be stored using integer type of data. But if I tell that you have to exclude the negative numbers, you have to only include 0 and the positive numbers. Okay, for that the size will remain the same, but you have to make use of another keyword in addition to int, which is the unsigned keyword, which will keep away all the negative numbers from this particular data type. Okay, then you see we have another type, which is the short int. Okay, let us just go here, short int. See, as I said, suppose you want to store, just understand this, I'm just showing it here, just try to understand. I'm just giving one example. Suppose I have asked you to store let me just rub it off. Okay, suppose I have asked you to store 5. As I said, I want to store a 5. Okay, and 5 is of integer type. Of course 5 is an integer, you have to store 5. So you know that when you will be storing 5 in memory location, it has to be converted to what? Binary. So the equivalent form of, okay, the binary equivalent of 5 is, if I represent it in is it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Okay, see, this is 5 in binary. Okay, and this is the number that I am supposed to store here. Is that fine? And I told you already that one memory cell can store a maximum of 1 byte of data. That means 8 bits. Okay, so here 5 is represented using 8 bits only. Okay, so here I am storing 5 directly in the first memory location. And what did I say about int? Int is of how many bytes? Int represents 4 bytes. Yes, int is of 4 bytes. So if you see, this is 1 byte, this is the second byte, this is the third byte, and this is the fourth byte. So these 4 bytes, okay, these 4 bytes are actually reserved for the variable a. That means if I write it this way, int a equal to 5. What does this mean? A is a variable which is of type integer. That means in a, I will be storing a value which will be of integer type. That means I'm storing an integer value in a. Okay, and what is that integer? 5. Now when I write this statement, only the left part, int a, what will it do is, it will simply reserve 4 bytes of memory for me. Okay, so when I will simply write int a, so what do you understand? Int is a data type and a is a variable. Okay, and what does this together mean? It means that I want to store some integer value. Okay, I want to store some integer value in the variable a. Now as soon as I write int, it will automatically reserve 4 bytes of memory for me. Okay, so suppose this 4 bytes, the first row, let me just highlight it. Okay, anyways, suppose this 4 bytes, okay, the first entire row, okay, first, second, third, fourth. So each of these 4 bytes, each of this 1 byte, okay, together it makes 4 bytes, will be reserved for me to store a value of 5. Now I have asked you to store the value 5. Okay, so 5 in 8 bits is this. Is it fine? Now I'm telling you, see, 5 can also be represented like this. 5 can also be represented this way. 0, 1, 0, 1. You can also write 5 this way with just 4 bits. Okay, you don't necessarily have to, write the number 5 using 8 bits only. You can write 5 with 0101 also, like this also you can write, because the initial zeros have got no meaning, just as in decimal number. Okay, so 5 can be written as either using all 8 bits, okay, or it can be simply written using 4 bits. You can also write 5 this way, say 000000000. Then you have the next 000000101. You can also write 5 using 16 bits. Okay, ultimately the value of 5 lies in here, 0101. This is the actual value of 5. So it does not matter how many zeros you are adding at the beginning. Okay, so why I'm saying this is because I want to tell you that any number, any decimal number can be represented in binary with any number of digits. I can represent 5 using 4 digits also. The same number can be represented using 8 digits also. The same can be represented using 16 digits also. The same can be represented using 24 digits also, 32 digits also, means bits, 32 bits also, 24 bits also. But anyways, the last number, the last 4 digits are the main, the least significant bits are the actual value. The first are only zeros and nothing else. Now, when I say that I want to store a 5 in the variable a, okay, so now a is not only this particular cell, but a represents the entire row, because I am reserving memory location for storing integer value. So integer is always of 4 bytes, so this entire 4 byte will be represented by a, okay, and whatever value I will be storing, that entire value will be stored in this particular row. Now, I'm asking you something that I can store using only 4 bits or 8 bits. Is it necessary for me to store it using 32 bits? Dorkar ase niki? If I can do something using only 8 bits, why will I waste the memory by storing the simple 8-bit data with 32 bits? Do you understand what I said? If I can store the 5 directly with 8 bits in one memory location, why do I need the rest of the 3 memory locations? Why do I need the rest of the 3 bytes? Yes or no? It is simply wastage. Buji paisa ne what I've said?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, as I said, 5 can be represented using any number of bits. But I know that 5, the least number of bits that you can require to represent a 5 is 4 bits only. So something that you can represent using only 4 bits or 8 bits, okay, so even if you use 4 bits or you use 8 bits, you have to use only one cell, okay, because one cell can hold a maximum of 8 bits. So even if you write only 4 bits of data, or you add another zeros to make it 8 bits, it is the same thing. So ultimately, just to store 8 bit of data, why do we need all the 4 bytes? It is useless, and you are simply wasting the memory. Look, you are simply wasting your memory. So better you can utilize this memory for some other data, yes or no? So you don't have to reserve it. So that is what we do, okay. So for that, we also make use of other keywords like short. In such the example that I gave you, okay, where you can simply store a 5 using only 8 bits instead of using all the 4 bytes, that is 32 bits. So what you can do is you can simply represent it using short, the short keyword. So it will minimize the number of bytes. So short int means 4, short int means 2 only. So 2 bytes means 16 bits. So then if you are representing short int, your value will be from this to this range, minus 32,768 to 32,767. Okay, so if you compare between the two values, see, this is short int. If you see, look at the range, how it decreased exponentially, and look at this, the original integer range of numbers. Yes, so this is why we make use of some additional keywords to maximize or minimize the actual data types, size of the actual data types. For example, in the example just I gave, where I gave you where I have to store a 5 in a, for storing 32 bits. I can simply store my data using 8 bits, or maximum of 16 bits is fine. But why do I need to have 32 bits for that particular number, small number? Yes. So in such cases, we can directly make use of the short int keyword. So instead, if I simply write here short int, okay, if I simply write here short int, just remember one thing, C is case sensitive and keywords are always written in small letters. Okay, so if I write short int A, it will only represent 16. Okay, it will only represent the first 2 bytes. Short means 2. Okay, so here it will only represent the first 2 bytes, this and this. So you have to, so A is now pointing only to this 2 particular bytes, and whatever data you are storing in A, okay, it will be stored together in these 2 bytes, half here and half here. Is it fine? And depending on the range, you can go on increasing the value of A. Okay, because you know that A will now range from minus 32,000